Hey guys. Wait. Thanks so much for clicking to watch this video. I'm so glad you joined me. Today I'm going to be showing, actually, if you're new here, my name is Chandler, hence the title XO Chandler, and I do videos about makeup, beauty, skincare, hair, school, whatever I feel like doing, and today it's been makeup. Today I'm going to be showing you how I get my full coverage. What am I showing you today? Intros are the hardest part of YouTube videos. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. So today I'm going to be showing you how I apply my foundation when I want it to be full coverage, seamless, blended well, long wearing, all of that good stuff. Because I find that foundation it's literally the most important part of your makeup. You know, no matter how much work you put into your eyeshadow and the rest of your eyebrows and everything, if your foundation is jacked up, then it's just not going to be appreciated. So here are my basic tips and tricks on how you too can apply flawless and full coverage foundation. Thanks so much for watching. Don't worry, I am wearing clothes. So my step one is to always apply SPF, moisturizer, and the serum, not in that order. I'm gonna show you how I do that. I find that this really helps with giving me a good base for my foundation. Of course, I'm going to also use primer, but this gives me a good base for my primer. It's important that if your skin is not evened out as far as texture is concerned, and other factors such as that, your foundation application will not be as even. I also used to think that not moisturizing my face would help me stay matte because my face gets so oily I shouldn't add more moisture to it already. That's completely false, completely ignorant actually. The reason my face gets so oily is because of lack of moisture. So I find that when I thoroughly moisturize and take care of my skin first, my foundation applies way smoother, lasts way longer, looks way better. This of course takes place after I have washed my face. Then I go into the treatment serums for my skin. This is by Urban Skin. All of these products are by Urban Skincare. I've been finding they've really been helping my skin even out. Of course, it's not all the way smooth yet, it's not all the way even yet, but there is definitely a noticeable difference. I'll insert a picture here from like 4 months ago to now. My skin has definitely been evening out. So I want to keep with that process, and hopefully in another 4 months it'll be completely clear. Who knows, we'll see. So this is the Super C Brightening Serum. This is the trial size. It really helps even out skin tone. It helps with hyperpigmentation, which is clearly what I have going on here. Helps with texture. This also has vitamin C in it, which brightens your skin. That's why it's called the Brightening Serum. I like to do half of my face at a time so I can really concentrate on the areas that I like to use it on. After I've completed that, I then go on to using the SPF. This SPF is mattifying and it's made specifically for oily skin, specifically for darker skin. It's supposed to not really give off a white cast, but I find that sometimes if you put a little bit too much, it does. And since I haven't quite figured out the exact measurement, I just like to go ahead and mix this SPF with the Hydra Balance Moisturizer. This is the sample size, this is the full size of the SPF. The SPF already is a moisturizer technically, but this Hydra Balance just gives a bit more moisture than the SPF does. When you combine them, it's a perfect amount. So before I do my eyebrows, I like to prime my skin. My favorite primer to use has been the Smashbox Photo Finish something primer. I'll put, a picture of that maybe next to me. But that's what I ran out of, so I went and just picked up a travel size of this Professionals. I got the matte rescue version. I had never seen this. I got this in Spain. I've only seen the regular kind. Maybe they have that here. I just didn't know about it. But I don't like it that much, but it primes and it helps. It's definitely better than not using a primer. But ideally, I would skip this step and use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This, of course, I've been using it. I wouldn't put it on my channel if I didn't trust this, but it's not my favorite one, basically. So go ahead and use the Smashbox primer or whatever primer you found that really helped you control oil. I also like the Becca primer. I don't like it all over my face because it is really drying. So I like to put that on my specific problem areas. So my nose and my chin get super oily, especially my chin lately. I don't know why. And a little bit just to around my crease area so that I don't crease. Okay, this is a bit tacky, so I like to make sure it's all patted in there so it doesn't mix with the foundation. It needs to lay even on its own. Okay. So I have a pretty solid base now. It's a bit of a white cast, and ideally you want to see a white cast if you have oily skin, unless there's a primer out there that doesn't really give that, but doesn't bother me because it's fun. We're gonna cover it up with foundation, so it doesn't matter. Nothing has changed with my eyebrow routine, really. I've been being a bit more careful with it just because I find that when I rush, I don't like the way my eyebrows turn out. So I'll insert, well, I'll just let you see me doing one eyebrow and then I'll just skip because the next one's the exact same thing. So yeah, the important thing here is to just be really careful and gentle with your brush strokes. Don't be too heavy-handed with the pomade because it'll come out looking black, and we don't want, I don't want at least dark black eyebrow. Try to be as precise as possible so you don't have to clean up much. This step helps it blend into your skin so it doesn't look like your eyebrow came out of nowhere. And as a person who doesn't have, naturally thick eyebrows, I think that's a very important step to take. You don't want your eyebrows to just appear out of nowhere. It has to sort of, blend in with your skin like it was sort of there. And I think that concealing under and a little bit on top, see I didn't put as much concealer on top, just mostly at the wing part, at the tail part, really helps the eyebrow blend into your skin tone rather than just looking like bam, an eyebrow out of nowhere. So yeah, that looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna do the other one off camera and I'll come back and show you guys what comes after that. One of the things that always happens is that when I do my eyebrows and I don't have the rest of my face on, I'm like, I look so dark, this is bad, this is wrong. And then when you add your foundation, you see that it sort of adjusts just because it adjusts to the look. These eyebrows don't go with your natural face. That's like a different type of eyebrow tutorial, a different type of eyebrow style because these are more dramatic type eyebrows. But for a foundation look like we're going to be showing today, these eyebrows do match, and of course if they don't, that's why I always go back in with my concealer brush and just sort of feather it out as I see fit. But that sort of takes place after the foundation is applied and I decide if I am comfortable with them or not. The next step that I do, I've talked about this plenty of times before on my channel. So Wowder is Glossier's finishing mattifying powder. I like to use Wowder in place of what people do for color correcting. I find that color correcting is messy, it's orange, it's bright, it mixes it with my foundation, changes my undertone, all things I just don't want it to happen. So I use Wowder and I go over my primer. So I set my primer and I'm also just providing the first layer of coverage for my foundation. So that way I don't have to use as much foundation because like I said, this does have tint in it. So this is the darkest shade. In my opinion, this shade is better for me in the summertime. In the wintertime, I definitely wish there was a shade between their medium and their darks because this one is pretty dark. Powder is definitely an integral step in my foundation routine. I don't do foundation applications that I want to last a long time without it. It's just sort of reinforcement purposes, coverage purposes. So the next step is the foundation. I have been using NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and I've also been using the Maybelline Superstay Foundation. I love these foundations so much. I love this NARS coverage. It's so natural, it's so pretty. And then I love the color of this foundation, and I love how long wearing it is. So I like to go ahead and mix these two. Also, the consistencies are pretty similar. I use 2 pumps of this, 2 pumps of Maybelline, 2 pumps of NARS. I just pump it on the back of my hand, go in with the butt of my beauty blender, and apply. I think a place where a lot of people go wrong is when they want full coverage, they tend to be really heavy-handed with their applications of foundation because you think, you know, the more the better. When you want it to look very smooth and flawless, you don't want to be so intense and heavy-handed with your foundation. So like, this was just 2 pumps, well, half of the 2 pumps of both on the side of my face, a total of 4 pumps of foundation. And when you think about it, especially when you're mixing foundations, that is really enough. Especially because we've color corrected, we've already concealed, you know, in a way with the powder. Now I'm just going in around the perimeter of my face and, you know, blending my sort of neck area with the foundation because you don't want any obvious lines. So as you can see, this is a pretty even and flawless coverage. Nothing is peeking through. It matches my skin tone very well. And the girl is smooth. Some people say the highlighting is to cover their dark circles. I find that just adds dimension to my face. So right now I'm taking my LA Girl in Toffee. Another trick that I learned from Jackie Aina is that when you want a long wearing full coverage look, you want to let your concealer sit for a little while. Of course, I want the most full coverage for my concealer under my eyes, so I will sooner blend out my chin and my nose, like the center area of my face, before I blend out the under eye area, because this is where I really want the coverage to show. I also found that when you don't beat your face, but you like tap it into your face, into your skin, I like the finish better. I think the lighter the taps, the better the application will be. Of course, this also takes a little bit longer than if you were to be more heavy-handed, but I think flawless foundation application is all about having time. So I like to take my concealer under my eye, and then when I'm, you know, have excess, a little bit of excess, I like to take it on top of my eye as well. The most important step is to bake your face. I know people are sort of opposed to baking because they think it makes you look cakey and they think it's sort of drag and too much. Whenever I bake, my makeup stays on, so I don't really know what the problem is with it. I also bake under my eyebrow a little bit. Down my nose, And like I said, my chin gets super oily, so I bake on my chin and crease area, not with as much powder. I like to actually like visibly bake under my eyes because I want the highlight color to show. But then on places where I just want to keep it matte, I'll just bake with the leftover powder on the rest of my skin. And I will literally just brush this off. So after all of the baking is finished, I like to go back in with the Wowder and just lightly add more coverage around my mouth, because obviously you're talking when you know you're using your lower half of your face really is the most in motion. I like to go back in with Wowder and set that area. I don't contour, so I like to use the Wowder as a faux contour, like a bronzer. So as I was mentioning before, the Wowder is a bit darker than my skin tone. So on a smaller brush for more targeted application, I'll take the Wowder from the top onto this brush, and I will put it in places that people would normally bronze. And then I just go ahead and blend with the bigger brush because I don't want it to be actually obvious, just more for like shadow purposes. I'm just gonna take the Fenty. I like to take multi-purpose highlighters and blushes, so like this is perfect because it's pink. I will go ahead and just pop some of your Grounded onto my lid. It's a highlighter shade, but it's a very also natural shimmer shade for my skin tone. So I'm just gonna pop some of that onto my lid to make the look all come together. I used to skip eyeshadow because I was like, I don't really want it to show up. And while that's true, I don't really want it to be, you know, the main focus sometimes. Sometimes I want the focus to be my skin makeup. I find that it's just like highlighter. It helps it come together. You need dimension on your eyelids just the same as you feel like you need dimension on your cheeks and so forth. So I just put a little bit of that right there. Before I apply mascara, I like to set my face. I use the De-Slick spray. Okay, I have tested the all-nighter spray twice, the De-Slick spray twice. All-nighter spray does not keep me matte in the same way that De-Slick does. I do not know what is in this stuff, but when I tell you it keeps me from being super oily, it really does. And I still get oily because my skin is just really oily, so I've been working on drinking more water, and that's definitely helped a lot, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this stuff like glues my makeup on my face. Go in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. To finish it off, I'm just going to use this Lipstick Queen lipstick, or lip gloss rather, in the shade Countess of Cocoa. I also got this in Spain. They have Lipstick Queen online in America, but I've seen it like once at the store, and that was at Ulta. Thanks so much for watching this video. This is the completed look. I filmed an actual outro, but it was way too long and I didn't need to say all that. So I'm just going to do a voiceover here. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in my next one, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!